I know it's popular for pimps to proclaim pimping ain't easy, but somebody's gotta do it. But what about when the bodies of murdered teenage girls are found dumped in dirty dumpsters, having been raped by predators who picked them from off of the strip, left them with their throats slit, stillborn fetuses with aborted futures scream from inside of their belly? What about women like Sara Kruzan, who grew up with no one to love her? She was raised by an abusive mother, grew up with no family stability. Her father was never home to hug her because he was locked up in a prison facility. At the age of 11, she met a 31-year-old pimp named Gigi, who told Sara she was too pretty to have sex with boys for free. He said she should charge them a fee. Gigi became her father figure, and Sara smiled whenever Gigi called her cute. But what she didn't realize was that Gigi was a pedophile grooming her to become a prostitute. Sara was seduced by this charismatic pimp, who bought her lavish gifts and paid her compliments. He would take her to the mall and constantly compliment her curvaceous body to gain her trust and confidence. But Gigi's charisma and charm quickly turned to death threats and bodily harm. He told young Sara that she would have to sell her body for sex to pay off his debts. And at the age of 13, Gigi raped Sara, forced her to strip, and from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. he forced her to walk the strip, selling her young body on the street corners in 12-hour shifts. Gigi used his manhood to strip Sara of all her self-confidence, and when Sara was 13, she was gang raped by 3 men, brutally beaten by 3 men who forcefully deposited their semen. And after that, it was difficult for Sara to even see man as man because of the 3 demons that assaulted her womb. Her childhood was tragic. At 13, her life had become pornographic. Her pimp Gigi was psychopathic, using teenage girls like Sara as slaves for sex traffic. Her life was living hell. So one night in a fit of rage, Sara snapped and shot Gigi inside of a hotel room when she was only 16 years of age. As punishment for a crime, a male judge sentenced her to prison for life, plus 4 years, without the possibility of parole, for defending herself against a pimp who stole her childhood and molested her soul. And now Sara Kruzan is over 30 years old. And I wonder why Sara got a life sentence as a youth, because the truth is she was a victim of ruthless sexual, emotional, and physical abuse. Her life itself was a death sentence. I wonder if the male judge viewed Sara as a harlot when he met her, a woman who wore a scarlet letter. I wonder why he sends a 16-year-old girl who was a victim to a life sentence in prison. America eats its young, and Sara is a victim, and I believe in her redemption. And if Sara was a rich girl from the suburbs who committed this crime, she never would have received this amount of time. It's time for Sara Kruzan to be released, so she can reach these young girls like a modern-day apostle, preach her ghetto gospel, help save the souls of those young girls who've been led astray by pimps who prey on teenage girls and force them to work in sex brothels. And I'll spit this poem while performing at poetry venues, cause we can no longer continue to call women hoes and bitches. And I believe it's sacrilegious to pimp young girls and exploit their bodies for material riches. And every penny a pimp profits for pimping a young girl, the devil gets a piece of that sale. Satan then uses the profit as a deposit to reserve a hole for a pimp soul to burn in hell. And a pimp will sell a teenage girl a dream and tell her that she's sitting on a gold mine. But it's my job as a poet to tell you that your inner essence is divine. And woman, your mind is more precious than gold, so it's time to stop casting your pearls to the swine. Woman, the divine presence of God dwells within you. I can see that God is within you. Woman, I can see the God is within you. And to all young women, I want you to know that you are most beautiful when you're not undressing. And to those of you who never knew your biological father, all you have to do is look to God in heaven. You are God's child. And I'll spit this poem in the memory of Lena Baker, for all the Sara Kruzans and thousands of other women who are wrongly imprisoned, until society realizes the young girls who have been raped and exploited are not criminals, they are survivors and victims. And the reason why a pimp will never tell you that you are the most sacred woman on earth is because it takes a man with spiritual eyes to recognize a woman's worth. And now is the time for Sara Kruzan to be released.